here we are back at the bench for another episode of Honing with Penguins. And wait a minute, what's that? Hold on. All right, we're back. What happened? They said they're tired of the bullshit and took the masks off and threw them away. Anyway, so here we are. And we're heading to the end of July now. And let me get these guys out of the way. Anyway, so I got this bench stone out and I want to show this off. Basically, that's going to be this video. Show off a couple of stones, right? So I got this out. This is going in the Etsy store at some point. It's got beautiful cow on the bottom. It's a little uneven, but not terrible. It's not enough to bother me. I could put some paper towel under here and get that done. There's a little flaw in the side over here. I gotta see the chamfer is extra wide. So I run my nail over it. It's smooth. It's perfectly smooth. What's interesting about this stone is it looks mizu-y, right? But it's not. It's not a mizu. It's got that like gray look to it, but you know, I should have tested this. See how that's like getting dark? Can you guys see the pattern in there? Now you can see like my overhead lights, but all like up and through here, there's this like underlying almost holographic quasi cloud pillow kind of surreal look to the stone. Yeah, it's trippy. When it came in, and it was a long time ago, there was a note with it to take a real good deep look at it. If I make some slurry, you can see it's harder than this. Let me see if this will do it. Alright. Can you see? This is an old piece of coma, but I pressed really hard. Can you see how it's really dark? It's almost black. I noticed it when I was working with another Nagur. So the slurry from this, and when I was lapping too, actually. So, yeah, let me just make some coma slurry on here. So I thought the black slurry was interesting. I thought the holographic pattern was interesting. So then I honed on it. Holy shit. What an edge. It took forever, though, to make the edge, because I was just like honing and waiting for like this slurry thing to like flip on me and give me that like, hello, you're done. It just wasn't happening, and then boom, it was there, but it took like forever and a day. The feeling on this is like it just throws me off. It literally throws me off. It's a little glassy, but not the type where you skip. It's a little slaty. It's got that like hard, wet stone feel to it. I know it is. It's a hard, wet stone, but not every stone feels like that under the blade. This one does. You get this incredible magnetism to the blade and edge on this stone. Like when you get, like essentially this edge is done, right? So I'm just basically screwing it up by demoing here, but I'll just finish it off later. I hone every night. So if I don't have anything that I actually have to test, a blade like this just goes on a stone just because like I need some zen. I don't always need to be honing for a real specific purpose. I like to hone because I like to hone the rhythm, the pace, that sort of pulsating stroke thing that's going on. Look deep into my eyes. It's hypnotic, man, for me. I was honing this blade the other day, and I think I drooled while I was honing. I had just like completely lost touch. You see the stone's a little thirsty. I lost touch with like my reality. Well, and not my reality. My reality was the blade on the stone. I lost touch with my surroundings, which, situational awareness to me is everything. So I don't like to be that far out all the time. But when I'm in privacy in my own home, I guess it's okay. The feel is amazing. Melting frozen chocolate bar or melting frozen butter stick. Just like having a piece of glass with a very light layer of lube, but a thick layer of lube. It's really hard to describe. It's a very unique feel. I was contemplating keeping it. I've been going through that a lot lately. I've been getting a lot of outstanding stones. I've been getting a lot of outstanding copa. I just sold my Maruichi because I got this, and like, I can't justify owning everything. I have a full-size Maruka that was purchased at Hatanaka's shop right before the elder passed away and the shop closed, and I don't even use it. I have another stone from the same shop bought in the same time frame that I haven't even lapped it. I'll get to it. I have to be in the mood, you know? Been moving a lot of stones, so I got a lot of testing to do. I have to put my priorities, like when I sell a stone, I got to tell you, what the deal is. Got to get done. Anyway, so I'm honing on this, and it's just like incredible. I'm not going to say it's totally unique, but I kind of want to say it's unique. I've had other stones that have a similar feel, a couple a little bit harder than this. This is very hard. I've had a couple that are, like super hard that have this kind of a feel to it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a damn unique feel. Anyway, so here I am, like doing my thing with this Tory. It needs a slight roll. You probably can't see me doing it, but you might see the effect of it. And I don't always roll because sometimes, and I don't always come completely on the stone either. As you can see here, I will, when I have a blade with a smile to it, like this does, I may work in sections. I may not be completely on the stone at any given moment. Yeah, sure, with the camera and the mic in the way, sometimes I might miss too, but often I will just come in here and work on a section that doesn't feel quite right, especially if I'm needing to come up like toward the toe, because I got a feeling up there that isn't quite 100%. So I'll just do a little extra work there, just give myself a little bit of. So there's that. Yeah, the feeling is wonderful. I could probably put more time into lapping this and bring it to absolute dead flat, which I don't do for stones in the store because it's too hard and it's too much work and takes too long and all of that good stuff. Right now it's flat enough. It's more than flat enough, but it could use, I can feel it. Okay, that's how hard the stone is, and that's how like dynamic it is. I can actually feel a little bit of undulation in there, and it's like, trust me, it like I'm. This is like such splitting hairs. It's not funny, right? So 99% of the people in the world would pick this up and hone on it just the way it is and be like, wow, this is awesome. Really, 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 really nice stone. Nice blade too. It's a Tory. half hollow. But the stone is the star of the show here. That's for sure. Alright, so there's that. Put that out of the way for a sec. A little bit of cleanup. So, I also got this in recently, which is like one of the best Karasu I've ever had in my life. Maybe the best. I'm gonna say it's the best I've ever had. I had a full-size Shobu that had the most disgustingly, incredibly annoying feedback that left the most psychotically sharp edges. That was really, really, really good. But this is like off the hook. So back to the Tori, and got this. What an amazing finisher. In fact, I refinished this on this stone last night. This is my Butler. Really nice blade. It was probably an 8/8 at one time. It's like 7/8 or 15/4. Yeah, I don't know. 7/8. Maybe a hair over. Nice blade. Refinished it. It had a great edge to start off with. Did a refinish. Came down to Tenju. And worked my way back up. And wowza. Last night's shave was killer. In fact, it's like 24 hours later. And I'm just getting 5 o'clock shadow now. Now the feeling on this is similar to that stone I just showed you, which, you know, I forgot to tell you, this is a Koro Gusa, is what you would call it. Right? Gusa is the strata. It's a low tome transition to Asia. It's a very rare stone, very rare seam, very rare, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just an aesthetic that, you know, I happen to understand and know about. So, got this, which is probably straight Asia layer, but I'm not sure. And the feeling on this is just, it's a nudge harder. And it has some of that melting feel to it, that melting chocolate bar sensation, but it's got a more solid feel to it than a fluid feel, where the other one feels more fluid in that regard. If I had to choose between the two, I'd have a hard time. I'd probably go with the Karasu because it's like crazy good. Karasus are almost never this good. People go crazy for them, but most of them are soft. All right, a lot of them have a lot of inclusions. And there was a guy on that auction site selling essentially worthless Karasu for like forever. Telling people whatever he wants to about it, and people eat it up because it's like a rare stone. But fact of the matter is, a lot of it was too soft, a lot of it was really scratchy, a lot of it was loaded with metallic inclusions, and it's just part of the thing. Which brings me to a little bit of a discussion. And somebody recently made a thing about Karasu on a shaving forum. And if you look at my website, you'll see that I have a reference to sometimes the black spots in this pattern can be scratchy. That means once in a while you can find a Karasu that has spots that are too hard. Now, too hard is sort of a general term, but once you start understanding all of this stuff, there are these Karasu that once in a while you can run across. I hadn't, run into one. So this thing started, and then I started thinking about, my wife has a Karasu. Here it is. Why does my wife have a Karasu? Well, she has a Boker straight, that's for starters. But this particular Karasu, all right, when it was sold to me, it was sold as, don't use it, it's a junk stone. I got it because I wanted to give it to her because she likes pretty stones, and she had seen Karasus and wanted one. So I got this and I gave it to her, and I never thought about it. But during this like embattlement on the forum, I started thinking about it, and I'm wondering what did my guy over there in Japan tell me to not use this because it's scratchy or not. So I sent an email, and he's like, I basically I don't know what you're talking about. You forgot. So I took a couple of blades. I have a desk full of practice blades, and I got a polish on one, and I came down, and don't you know it, here and here, these two black spots have you can see it when you turn. Well, you're not going to see it here. You got to come in with a loop at an extreme angle and rake light across it. You can see like a sparkly type of thing in there, and it was leaving rogue scratches. So the more polished the edge was, the more polished the bevel was, the more you would see the scratches. And like, was it the end of the world? No. Could somebody live with it? I'm sure people live with worse. There are people buying stones on eBay that are touted to be finishers that are little more than pretty paperweights to me. So anyway, so I got that out to show that off, and just comes about by way of talking and having a discussion while I'm honing to you. Didn't really have any major purpose, just wanted to touch base with that concept. Yeah, so this stone, beautiful. This stone, amazing, full-size bench stone with like a great look and a great feel. This one I'm keeping. The other one's going to move out. And I don't know if you watched my store recently. I got a bunch of copper. A lot of copper. Not a lot, but a few. Actually, most of them are sold. I have some left. And people ask me all the time, you save the best ones for last. They're all fantastic stones. They get tested, they go out, I give descriptions. Stuff that's up there now is really good, as is this one, which isn't posted yet, and the 2 or 3 that are posted. Now, what's nice about copper, they cost a little bit less, and you get some extra width. Like, my regular showbows, they're like 2 inches. Some of these go 4 or 5 inches in the middle. That's nice. It's a very nice thing. Everyone has preferences, right? So some people only want 8x3 stones. Okay, fine. You don't need that, but like, if that's what you want, then that's what you want. I'm not going to argue with you. You're going to pay more, and your edges aren't going to be better. But if that makes you more comfortable that size, then fine, roll with it. So when it comes to copper, similar things happen. Some people want only thicker ones or wider ones, or stones that are longer and thinner versus shorter and fatter, and come in all shapes and sizes. And people want to know, what's a copper? Well, copper is an unevenly shaped stone. Now, you will see a stone like this sold as a copper. I might even call this a copper because I'm just used to it. But technically, there's a size, a number, a numerical size for this. And technically, most people wouldn't call it a copper. But like, there's an angle cut here. It's not perfect. So anyway, so I have this nice copper. And people ask you, how am I going to hone on that? Now you saw I have an angle here, right? Now this is sloped down, right? This is a wide chamfer, normal chamfer, and then typical. So you could come in like, right here, right? And then basically you just work over, and you come back. So basically I'm following the line of the chamfer here with the heel. You can all see that, right? Right? That was just for demonstration. So people are like, well, am I going to get to use the whole stone? Well, of course you are, if you work at it. And that's the whole thing about honing, right? You should be rotating your stone around a lot. I don't do it so much on camera, but I do it when I'm doing my regular honing. When I'm on camera, I forget stuff. So then I mention it. Let me hit that with some water and come back in here. Okay, so now you have this weird angle cut, right? So you follow in the heel. You just follow the line over. You pretend the same way you would do if it was straight, but you just edge in a little bit, And on the back, on the return, you're just coming back in like that. Simple, right? Takes a little practice, takes a little getting used to. But it's nothing to be worried about. It's nothing to be afraid of. And it's nothing to be like, oh, I'm going to screw my blade up. Because, like, in Japan, most, like, barbers, for the most part, this is the size stone that they'll have. You know, we have this luxury thing of, like, honing blades on these big blocks. But most barbers, you won't find that size stone. Occasionally, sure, you will. But by far and large, you're going to find stones like this. They're more economical. They're easier to take care of. They're literally easier to learn to hone on because they're easier to keep flat. And because you have this like slightly tighter area, you're a little more focused. And when you're more focused, you're paying more attention, you know, that type of a thing. And if you watch me, most of the time when I'm finishing, I'm working here. Okay, I'm working in a space about that big. I almost never go to the ends. Shorter strokes, it's easier to control your pressure. Finishing, part of finishing, a huge part of finishing. Well, all of honing is related, is dependent on your control of pressure. You know, when you're starting out in the early grits and you're using more pressure, and then I have this thing where I seesaw and I come into the next grit with a little heavier and then I back off a little bit more, and then I go forward to the third stone and I come in a little heavier but not quite as heavy as I did on the last stone. And that's complex, but that's just me and how I develop my thing. My point is that pressure is a huge part of honing. You learn what medium pressure is by honing, and then you figure out what heavy, medium, and light is by honing. You figure it out. You can't just dial it into your arm and develop it. You have to actually do it and learn by doing. But when you're working in a small area like this, it's so much easier to keep your pressure light and keep it constant. It's much harder when you have a longer area because your arm doesn't move perfectly naturally. Your arm does not move perfectly parallel to the stone. You have to develop that skill, that muscle memory. So at times you're going to push harder and at times you're going to push lighter. And the thing is, with pressure, you need it to be consistent. So working in the middle here, I can do that light as a butterfly wing thing. But if I have to do that over a 12-inch distance, it's a lot more difficult. Anyway, just wanted to show that. Really decent blade, really cool copper. Really, really great karasu. And an absolutely super bench stone. That's looking pretty ratty right here, right now, right? It looks terrible. That's just slurry all dried up. Looks like a mudslide or something. Anyway, that's it for like right now. That's it for this episode of Penguin Pandemic Pandemonium Honing Fun. Let me get the pengies back out here. Yeah, they're done with the mask thing. Not even sure that penguins can get coronavirus. Anyway, so listen, here we are. Another episode of the Corona Chronicles. I think I'm done. I'm thinking this is the last one. I'm just going to go back to my regular scheduled programming. So, all of this stuff, some of it's in Etsy, some of it's in my collection. I hope I showed you stuff that was a little informative and maybe a couple of people might have learned a couple of things. If not, come back. The next video, I'll try harder. Anyway, remember, like I'm doing this stuff out here, I'm having fun. You should be having fun too. This is all about having fun. So get your stones on the bench, get your edges on those stones, make some nice shaving edges, go have some great shaves. Till next time, take care. Talk to you soon.